This is Corendrix, my Zeah-locked Ironman. He has one mission, and that's to completely conquer everything that Zeah has to offer. We have a lot to do to make that happen, so let's jump right into it. Hello my friends, and welcome to episode 2 of the Corendrix journey. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and assume that you've already seen episode 1, but if you haven't, be sure to check that out so you kinda know where we're at in the series so far. I'll put a link down in the description, and I'll even pause this video for you so you have a second to go check it out. Welcome back, and I hope you enjoyed the first episode. Now, as you can see, I am standing outside of the Wintertodt, and that's because in the last episode I said that we were going to finish up 99 fire making and stack up all of the reward points, and that is exactly what we did. We managed to accrue 925 reward points from the Wintertodt just by stacking from level 90 to 99 fire making. This is going to give us a ton of supplies for the future, especially as we're going to be getting into PVM pretty soon, but more on that later. But before we cash in on all of this dopamine, there are a few things that we need to do first, and I'll explain exactly what they are. The loot you receive from the reward cart is directly impacted by how high you've trained your skills. For example, at level 1 fishing, you're able to receive raw anchovies, trout, salmon, and tuna. But with a fishing level of 15, 34, and 43, you're able to start receiving raw lobster, swordfish, and sharks respectively. This concept also applies to farming for seeds, herblore for grimy herbs, and logs for woodcutting. Now, we aren't going to be getting super high levels in all of these skills, but seeing as we started at Wintertodt as our initial stepping stone for supply prep for the future, I think that training our skills a bit more first before looting the reward cart to maximize what we're gonna get is in our best interest for the future. So yeah, I think we're gonna get some fishing levels, we're gonna do some farming levels, and we're gonna scour the bank and pull together whatever herblore XP we can before we loot the reward cart. Oh, and check this out too. We got 42 construction, 68 fletching, and 65 woodcutting just from getting 99 fire making. That's a pretty cool start. I think I want to knock out the farming first, and we're going to be using the Tithe farm minigame to do that. But first, a quick word from today's video sponsor, me. I want to just take a second and say thank you for the genuinely overwhelming support that the very first episode received. The comments were overwhelmingly positive, and I can't tell you how much that meant to me to see that this passion project I was working on the side received the love that it did. I recently added channel membership as an option to sign up for, but I want to clarify a few things. My channel membership will always only be for showing additional support if you're enjoying the series. I will never post members only content, and it will never come with perks that give you any sort of advantage in this community that we're cultivating together. I am not a fan of that. So if you're really liking the series so far and want to support the journey going forward, channel membership is now an option. But that's enough of that. Let's get back to the video. If you've never done it before, don't worry, I'm gonna give a very brief explanation on how this works. The minigame itself is located just slightly east from the house portal in Hosidius, and also has a teleport option under the minigame teleports. And the only things you need to start are a spade, a seed dibber, and a few full watering cans, as well as level 34 farming. Next, you're just gonna come over to the seed table and pick whichever seed fits with your farming level. For me, that's gonna be the lowest tier 1 at level 34, and you can take up to 10,000 of them because why not? How you play this minigame is pretty straightforward. You're gonna plant your seeds in each of these patches, and once they're planted, you're just going to use your watering can on it to water them so that it starts the growth cycle. For each fruit planted, there will be multiple watering cycles that you'll have to be mindful of before the fruits are fully grown and ready to harvest. I personally plant 24 at a time, which is pretty click intensive but gives you more XP and points per hour. You can do less, you can do slightly more, whatever you're comfortable with really. And the wiki also goes into greater detail about how you can plant them more efficiently if that's how you like to play. I promise this will all make sense in just a second. I will show you how I do a run in a very sped up version, and you'll see what I mean. You'll know the fruits are pretty much ready to harvest when they look like something that's been grown inside of Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'll be doing for the next, I don't know, probably 10 to 12 hours or so. At the end of each round, there is a place to fill up all of your watering cans, and then right here is the deposit sack where you'll turn in your fruit for points and also experience. However, it is always best practice to wait until you at least have 100 of them. You'll get bonus XP and bonus points, so always try to aim for that. And of course, there is a reward shop to spend all of your hard-earned points at. Similar to the Lumberjack's outfit or the Pyromancer's outfit, there is a farming outfit as well, which gives additional farming experience when worn. It's not the greatest, but if you choose to buy it, it does add up over time. There's also farming consumables such as compost, super compost, grape seeds, herb boxes, and seed packs, which are pretty nice options to have in this reward shop, to be honest. And of course, last but not least, you do have a seed box and an herb sack, which can store random seeds and herbs that you gather through Slayer or just various forms of PVM, respectively. You can also unlock the Dry Cooler's can, which holds like a gazillion doses of water, so you don't have to carry around so many watering cans, which is pretty nice. And then of course, Auto Weed, which prevents weeds from growing back in your farming patches once you've raked them and unlocked this, which is definitely a really nice quality of life thing. Outside of that, I mean, you guys pretty much just learned how to do Tithe Farm. Make sure as you level up, you switch out your seeds, like at level 54 and level 74 for maximum experience. I don't think it has any impact on points, so that doesn't matter, but for experience, it definitely does. And I will see you guys as we start to come in with farming level milestones. Alright my friends, we just got our very first stack of 100 and I'm about ready to turn them in and see what kind of experience we get. I am an excellent content creator and I went into this knowing full well the experience rates and what to expect, so this is totally not me learning in the moment, but let's see what we get. 9,000, that's honestly not too bad. I feel like I could do probably around 300 fruits an hour, maybe somewhere between like 300 and 400 if I was really paying attention, so yeah, like, what would that be, 27, somewhere between like 27 and 36k an hour with the lowest level fruit? That's honestly not too bad, and we gained 3 farming levels from that, so we'll take that. It's a good start. Oh, and I've been keeping up on my herb runs on the side too, you know, every hour and 20 minutes. And been stacking up some super compost as well, which has been helping increase the yield of said herbs. Though I'm not sure what's going on with these onions. Not sure what happened here, but I swear I treat all of my vegetables with love and respect. Hello, my friends. It's been a little bit since the last update, but I currently have 400 fruit stacked in my inventory. And when combined with the points I had before, this will put me just over the 200 required to purchase the Dry Cooler's can. Now, again, it's not a necessity, but since I plan on being here for quite some time, not having to fill up my watering cans after every run sounds like a blessing right now. So let's go ahead and turn these in. We're starting with 43 farming currently, so we'll see how many levels this gets us. Not too shabby. 5 levels from that. Took us from 43 to 48. We will gladly take that. And now we can afford our Dry Cooler's can upgrade, so just gonna grab that real quick. Yoink. And level 54 farming coming in. And level 60 farming coming in. Oh, you guys, I am so excited about this. We have been locked away in Wintertodt and Tithe Farm for so long that I can't even remember the last time that I'd seen an XP random. It has been ages. This book of knowledge is going right on to Slayer and will get us our first level in a very long time. Level 10. Here's to many more in the future. Okay, and we are back at Tithe Farm for our final clip from here. I promise. This inventory is going to get us 65 farming, and will be where we're stopping on the farming grind in terms of what we're actively working on at least. Level 65 is kind of a sweet spot because it should let us get a larger quantity of rare seeds from the Wintertodt, but it also gives us access to the medium tier section of the farming guild, which that alone is a massive buff for our account because we get access to a second herb patch, effectively doubling the rate at which I can grow and harvest herbs, and we also get access to our very first tree patch too. And I have a ton of U seeds in the bank, so lots of free farming XP passively going on in the background. Okay, tiny lie, I am buying auto weed real fast, but I'm saving the rest of the points for the future, and now we're done with Tithe Farm. Now, this is where the levels and overall progress really starts to fly in. I fish for trout and salmon right in front of the farming guild, getting to my desired level of 43 fishing. I cooked said fish and reached a cooking level of 52. This will be important later, but for now it's kind of just a throwback to something I had planned in episode 1. I then scavenged the bank for herbs and managed to hit level 27 herblore by making strength potions. And yeah, now we're here at the Wintertodt again, finally ready to loot the 925 surges we have stored. I'm going to quickly throw my loot tracker on the screen just to kind of remind you all of what I had received from levels 50 to 90 in the past, and then we'll waste no time and jump right into looting. Fingers crossed that we see a tome of fire. Okay. Pulling a pyro top right out of the gate. I hope that's a good sign of things to come. Oh my god, yes. We managed to actually loot the Tome of Fire. I did not plan on staying here if we didn't get it, so it is really nice to ensure that we got it well before we were out of reward rolls, but that is so nice to see. It's really not 100% necessary by any means, but it's an upgrade to our magic attack level, plus it increases the damage dealt by fire spells, which, over the course of time, will be incredibly nice to have when we're sending at least 2,000 challenge mode chambers. So yeah, great to get that out of the way ahead of time. Well, alright my friends, that is going to be a wrap on the loot from Wintertodt. No pet and no dragon axe, but that is completely okay with me. We yoinked that Tome of Fire and are walking away with a ton of seeds, mainly Renars and Snapegrass seeds, which is absolutely amazing. I had mentioned at the start of this episode that we would talk about combat later, and all I can really say is that episode 3 is where our first, really big PVM grind is gonna start taking place, so these supplies are gonna help set us up for that immensely. And welcome to present day Corendrix. So directly after finishing all that Wintertodt looting, I ran over to the Woodcutting guild, purchased a rune axe, and chopped roughly 4,000 maple logs. I gained 70 woodcutting along the way, and the game plan is to use all of them at Veil Totems to get 80 fletching. If you haven't realized by now, this episode is basically just purely progress towards not having to skill so much in the future. For example, 80 fletching will unlock the ability to fletch a magic shortbow, which will be a best in slot for me shortly after we actually start training combat. And I said just a little bit ago that episode 3 will start the first large PVM grind of the series, and I really just want to make sure that we are as fully prepared for that as humanly possible, because once we start, we're going to be getting into chambers before you know it. Honestly, we are really going to hit the ground running at the start of episode 3. Man, I had brought up never having done Varlamore thieving in episode 1 and talked about how relaxing and amazing it is, but I have to say Veil Totems might take the cake on relaxing activities. This is such a cool method for training fletching, and really diving into the Ironman experience on a new account for the first time has been a blast. But then again, maybe I'm just comparing it after doing Tithe farm for 15 hours, but either way, I'm having a blast now. And if you aren't familiar with this minigame, it's incredibly simple. After a short mini quest, you're essentially just going to be building totems for the awesome Ent people of Auburndale. Once the totem is constructed, which uses one log of your choice, you carve the corresponding wildlife to that specific totem. Decorate it with 4 decorations, aka 4 maple longbows in my case, and the Ent creatures come and leave you an offering of searchable leaves, which can give a bunch of useful items, ranging from bowstrings and bird nests to unique items that make fletching a bit quicker. And you also cannot convince me that the offerings they leave are not their poop. Don't try, I've seen it and cannot unsee it. Regardless, incredibly quick fletching experience, and very relaxing. Oh man, this has been so nice and chill, but unfortunately we have gone through all of our maple logs because I cannot plan anything out to save my life. We're gonna be just shy of 80 fletching, so we'll have to go back and cut some more, but no big deal at all. Woodcutting is also pretty relaxing. And there is 71 woodcutting coming in, and we're back, and there it is, my friends. We have officially reached the 80 fletching milestone. I'm gonna go ahead and get our magic shortbow together, and we are ready to fully start the combat grind. And voila, there it is. I know this episode might have seemed a little more fast-paced than the last, but I wanted to try to showcase the progress I made without diving too deep and over-explaining my progress to long-term players, and without leaving newer players completely uninformed on, what was going on. I'll be returning to my normal, more in-depth videos at the start of episode 3, which, like I said, is where we will start our very first massive PVM grind. The next time you see me, this account is going to be an absolute unit. You are not going to want to miss it, I promise.